Hello all you happy people, and welcome back to Killershrewfan's 12 Days of Reviews. You know, there comes a point in every collector's life where he or she holds in their hands the most incredible figure, one that they have sought after for the longest of times, but has evaded their grasp time and time again, and they finally track that particular figure down, and they look it over, and they say to themselves, wow, I finally have this amazing figure. Well, this is not that time. No, today we are going to be taking a look at this Schleich Baryonyx. I'm honestly a little surprised that it came to this. I mean, I never once in a blue moon thought that people would want us to take a look at Schleich's older models. But as a direct result of our first review for Killershrewfan's 12 Days of Reviews, this dinosaur was requested by Dino Man for us to look at. And I mean, you know, we might as well. We don't quite have 12 figures lined up just yet, so might as well just go for it, you know? And I know one person who is, someone who is very excited for this review, and it's this guy. I mean, just look at that happy dopey grin glued to his face. He is so excited for us to take a closer look at him, so let's not keep him waiting. Before we jump into the actual figure, I will like to note that it comes with this rather thick tag, thicker than a bowl of oatmeal this tag is, and it has a bunch of factoids about the species and the line inside in several different languages, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, this thing not going anywhere. It is tied to his neck, so I'm afraid I won't be removing it for this video, just for, you know, keeping him in the best possible, newest looking condition I can. Sorry about that, but it's just gonna have to be there. He also comes with this 1/40th scale human to give you an idea of the size of this species. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start this show and give you a closer look at the model itself. As you can see, he does have the usual spinosaurid crest, nasal crest there, and really that's about all there is to the accuracy of this skull. There is really nothing much else going for this. I mean, if you just pick this thing up off the shelf, it could very easily be a sea monster, not a Baryonyx. You might need someone to clarify for you. You've got this long, wide mouth that comes to this sort of smile, and you can see he's even got smile lines sculpted in there. Going down the neck, as you can see, he's got some bulging musculature in the neck area, and you've got a clear sense of the scapula under the body there. Going down the arms, there's not a lot of sense of anatomy, but you do come to the signature large, heavy claw, which Baryonyx is named after, on both hands, so at least they included that. Going down the body, you do see some wrinklage at the armpits and just by the thigh there, and a rather powerful looking thigh. This is the best sense of musculature on the model, I must say. The legs seem pretty well sculpted, not really accurate to Baryonyx, but you definitely get a sense of the anatomy of this creature in the leg sculpts, if anything. Going down the back all the further, you come to this sort of swooshed tail which points downward, and this model is very weird when it comes to standing. You can tell that the tail is there for support because it does touch the ground when you set him on all fours, but it's not like it's needed. I mean, he's standing on 4 legs. You don't need the tail as additional support. So when you have this on a flat surface, it just so happens that the tail comes down lower than the back limbs. So he is not even standing flush with the table. He's on his front legs and the tail. The tail keeps the back feet from being on the surface. It's just so awkwardly sculpted. This thing is a mess, I gotta say. There is almost nothing good about this figure. I mean, the whole thing is done in this brown color. As you can see, it was molded in the brown, and then it's got a darker brown done for shading, which results in a thrilling shade of mud. But I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, it's got some purple stripes going down the body to give it some breakup. You know, like right there you can kind of see them. Just ever so faint. We couldn't go too bold with that. We don't want it to look too interesting to the eye, this paint job. And as you can see, there's really no scaling going on. You could make the argument that he has wrinkles sculpted in, but it doesn't look so much like wrinkles to me as it does cracked mud or cracked pavement. It does not read as an organism. But I gotta say, just holding this figure and looking at him from the front, I think it more than makes up for it. I mean, just look how happy he is to be alive. I aspire to be as happy as this Baryonyx. I mean, what else can I say about this figure? It's just goofy. It's brown, goofy, sea monster time. I have no words. No words. Let's just do some size comparisons because, you know, what else can we do? Before we do those size comparisons, let's bring in our flimsy shattered ruler and find out just how big this Baryonyx is. So from the tip of the snout all the way to the back of the tail, you're looking at right around 7 3/4 inches long. And from the base all the way to the highest point, which is going to be that humped back, you're looking at just under 3 inches tall, about 2 1/4 inches off the ground, somewhere in that zone. I must say, when I first received this figure, I was a little surprised at how small it was. I guess I don't know what I was expecting. I do have figures that have this little guy intact. I should have been able to estimate how big this figure was going to be since he has his attached, but I don't know, I was expecting something a little bigger. Let's do some size comparisons. I really have nothing, you know, planned to compare this to. It's just, it belongs in its own world. I mean, you saw we compared it to the Baryonyx, and if you didn't see that video, feel free to check that out if you want to see how this Baryonyx sizes up to that Baryonyx. But I literally just did that to show everyone who complains about the Baryonyx that it could be way worse. But just for argument's sake, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Schleich's Tyrannosaurus Rex, quite possibly their most recognizable figure, and you can kind of get an idea on how the Baryonyx would size up next to that big fella there. Next up, we're going to go ahead and bring in another old world Schleich model. It is the Schleich Allosaurus, and this one, when I received him, I was much more satisfied with the size of that model than the Baryonyx. But yeah, I don't know what it is about Schleich's older models, but they just all look so brown and so happy. They make these goofy reptilian creatures, give them a big painted on smile, and then paint them brown, and then accentuate that paint job with more brown. It really is a sight to behold. There's no other company. Schleich is completely unique in this style. I mean, what else can I say? It's just so bizarre. So bizarre, but I don't know what it is. I can't stop myself from tracking these figures down. I'm speechless. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're hypnotizing me. I mean, just look at those beady eyes staring into your soul, saying, "Buy more Schleich figures." Oh, I went too far. Buy more Schleich figures. You won't regret it. See how happy we are? You could be this happy if you bought more Schleich figures. That is the only explanation I have. I have to be under some sort of spell cast upon me by these two lizard beasts. That's it. That's the only explanation that exists. Alright guys, there you have it. Killershrewfan's look at the Schleich Baryonyx figure. You know, I have given this figure a very hard time. I have been very harsh with it. And honestly, I think it's justified. But at the same time, I do like it. I am very glad to have this figure and all of the old Schleich figures that I have. There's just some sort of charm with them. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just nostalgia. Maybe it's just the fact that they are so unique and so amusing to look at. But I am very happy to have the Schleich figures that I have, and this one is no exception. Do I recommend it, though? That's the tricky part. I want to say I do not. Because of the fact that it is sometimes tricky to track down. This is the first time I ever saw this figure on eBay alone was the one that I bought him, and ever since then I have not seen him pop up again in a lot or for individual sale. So he can be very tricky to find, I feel. And if someone knows that, obviously they're gonna jack up the price. So unless you are like me and you enjoy Schleich, the old Schleich figures, don't bother. This guy is he's just a little too goofy for the serious collector, but in case you didn't notice from that video, I'm not all that serious. But, you know, I mean, I'm glad I have him, but I might be in the minority there for actually enjoying this figure. So for a final rating, I think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I know that's probably overly generous. It's probably more deserving of a 4 or even 3, but I do love my Schleich Baryonyx. I'm glad I have him. If he just looked, you know, better or more interesting, he would definitely be getting a higher rating. But as always, I want to know what you guys think of this figure. You know, for me, I honestly didn't even know it existed until I found him on eBay, and then after that it was, you know, love at first sight, like I have to have him. So if this is your first time being exposed to the Schleich Baryonyx, let me know your first impressions down in the comments below. Let me know all of your thoughts on Schleich, this model, the Allosaurus, anything. Let me know all of that down in the comments section. And don't be afraid to keep sending in video requests. As you can tell, we've been banging those out more frequently now, and we will be sure to get to yours come hell or high water. I promise you they will get done. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, you think I did a good job, don't be afraid to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out so you don't miss any more awesome videos talking about Schleich figures. I will see you in our next review. Bye-bye.